I am still technically in the middle of my House of Leaves read, so forgive me if I am in the same exact shirt in this that I'm going to be in for some clips for that, but I'm going to also be reading the entirety of the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess mangas. I have the first 5 here on my library. I'm going to read them on my iPad. It has all of them, all 11 volumes, which is great because it would be $100 to buy all of them. Actually, 130 because I count with the box set. But I've never read them. I read the Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and I think Link to the Past or another. I've read several of the mangas. Ocarina of Time was the best one. I really love that one. The other ones, in my opinion, didn't measure up. I'm very hopeful about these because I've heard really, really good things. Like, there's 11 issues of this for one game, so I can only imagine it's going to be incredibly fleshed out, because the ones for Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and stuff, it was like about this thick, split in half. So there's 2 to each one. So I'm imagining this is going to be just a lot more. I think there's some other mangas for the games. I haven't seen them. There's 4 Swords that has one. I think there's a couple others, but I'm not very familiar. I really mostly just wanted the Ocarina of Time one and Majora's Mask, which were fun. The Ocarina one, again, it's so good. But I'm going to dive into these Twilight Princess ones because my brain needs a break from House of Leaves, because last night I was coming back from the bathroom to my room and I thought I heard something growling, and I just need a small break. So Legend of Zelda it is. I am at the halfway point-ish, almost, of volume 1 of the Twilight Princess manga. I was right, already way more fleshed out. They said that, I'm gonna say all this stuff kind of assuming you might know what it is, because I don't know how else to explain. Actually, no, you know what, fine, I'll explain. Okay. There's the Twilight, or people, there's like, I'm gonna try and do this as like easier to understand as possible. There's a normal world, and there's like a dark world, the whole different kind of people, and there's all kinds of different monsters. There's a little kingdom. There's a princess, Midna. They call her the Twilight Princess. They started immediately with you seeing her in like human form, by the way, which was the twist of the end of the game, kind of. Not really a twist, but you know. So her dad is the king, and Zant is the advisor. Zant is the bad guy for the game, pretty much. Ganondorf is the bad guy, but he's like the twist bad guy, like the front. And Zant is basically Jafar in this. He turns on them immediately. Whoever has the most power is supposed to be in charge. And he's like, well, Minna, if you want to be in charge, then overpower me. And she's like, I don't know what's happening. He's so powerful. Immediately, way more fleshed out than in the game, as far as I'm concerned. Lots and lots of stuff in the Twilight Realm. And then in the village back with Link, he's got some kind of backstory that they don't have in the game. Like, I don't know it yet, obviously, only halfway through, but he has some kind of sadness in him. He had a little panel where one of the villagers is asking him to be a swordsman with him, and Link's kind of sad because he just wanted peace and calmness, and he just can't escape his fate, I suppose. But Epona's in it. I'm very excited to see Epona. Princess Zelda made a tiny appearance, but so far pretty similar, except it's just got more. Like, there's just more in it. I'm kind of wondering how close they're going to follow the games, because like the Ocarina of Time one kind of didn't. It sort of had the beats, but in a very different way, and I'm assuming this is going to be the same, because like, again, 11 volumes is so much. If I had to guess, I feel like Ocarina of Time was maybe like 3, just to compare it, and it's just like that one felt like a decent size. It's interesting to see this one be so long, because the other ones I've seen at their longest, I think, were only like 4 volumes. But again, I don't know for sure. I didn't do a bunch of research, but so I'm halfway in the first one. That's my initial impressions. Not a lot has happened, so I can't necessarily tell you anything plot-wise, but I'll check back in when something happens. So we just learned Link's tragic backstory. I don't like it. I'm going to spoil it. He moved to the village 2 years ago, and it's because his country was swallowed up by the darkness, aka like the Twilight realm, because it's leaking into their world. And he was scared and he ran away. He was a fighter, but he was afraid because he's a teenager, and he took off. I don't like that because it means that he is already aware of the Twilight and stuff, and I don't typically like that kind of thing. He's been having dreams about it, like the monsters and Midna, I think, and just the realm generally. And I don't, because the thing is, Link has always had like kind of premonitions in the games. He had a vision at the beginning of Ocarina of Time of Ganondorf chasing Impa in Zelda. He had like some kind of connection to Zelda mentally in Link to the Past. Like he heard her voice in a dream. He dreams things. That's been a thing that comes up a lot, is he has dreams, visions, kind of. So I thought that's what they were doing with the Twilight stuff in his head, and it's actually just that he saw it already, and I think that's lame. But what I do like is that there's two wolves. One of them is a golden wolf, and that's Zelda, and he keeps seeing her. She keeps popping up, and I think that's fun. I think it's cute. They did this a little bit in Ocarina of Time, too. The staples of the games, how they kind of weave in those as references. Like, a lady at the village gave him a potion. And if you don't know, he has potions for magic and healing and stuff like that. There was that kind of small reference stuff in Ocarina of Time, too, and I think that's neat. Like, he has certain weapons that he always has, which is like a hook shot, a bow. He typically, in a lot of games, he actually has an ocarina, not just Ocarina of Time. He, like, plays music a lot on an ocarina. So, in this one, he has a little piece of grass that he blows on, and it summons Epona, or it's supposed to, and he uses it to play music to the wolf. And it has this like a curved piece of grass, and it's in this. And that's fun. I think I am 71% in. I have a bit left to go. He just left the village, so I'll check back in when I finish, probably. Finished volume 1. Not much else happened. Link got into a fight with some monsters, and they cut his arm off, which is not from the game. And then his detached arm, which had the Triforce on his hand, floated up into the air holding a sword. He got healed by, I think it was Wolf Zelda, and he got turned into a wolf. That's how it ends, is he's turned into a wolf, and then Midna shows up in her imp form, which, if you know the game, that's very early on. He gets turned into a wolf, and they're in like the Twilight realm kind of thing, and she rides him because she's really tiny. She's very mean. I never liked Midna. Other people did. I thought she was just so annoying, and I don't anticipate really liking her now. She's just so mean, and it's like, I don't know why they thought that would be fun. Everyone complains about Navi, but geez, like, friggin' Midna is so much worse. And if you like Midna, if you're a Midna stan, I'm sorry. I don't like her. Don't think she's funny. Don't think she's cute. Hoping at least comic book version of her is going to be more palatable. I don't know if it is, considering her last panel, or the last panel is her, and it's like, you might be worthy of serving me. It's like, oh, in for a long one, huh? I was right. Midna is already annoying me. We got to the part where Wolf Link and her caught up with Princess Zelda in a Hyrule Castle, and she's telling the story about how Zant came in with the army and basically said, if you don't surrender, then we're going to kill everybody. And she didn't want her people to die, so she surrendered. And Link is filled with shame because of his abandonment of his people, because he was scared, and also he's meeting the princess as a wolf. And he's just down on himself, and Midna's like, can you stop whining? I'm so sick of all this whining. It's just, I don't like that kind of thing. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it makes her charming. I just hate her face, and I'm a little worried about how she's going to make me feel about the rest of this book, because she's going to be in every second that Link is in it, because she does not leave his side. When he's Wolf Link, she's riding him. When he's normal Link, she just pops out sometimes, so I'm hoping that within this, when he goes back to his human form, she won't be in it as much, but I really doubt it. So I'm a little pessimistic from here on out. Finished volume 2. Truthfully, don't have a lot to say. It was kind of just setting up stuff. Animal Link went back to the village. All the villagers freaked out, but he can talk to the animals. And the cat was like, hey, you're cool. And then a bunch of animals were like, our homes are getting destroyed and we're scared. Please help us. And then he found some monkeys being attacked by their evil monkey boss, and he defeated the monkey boss, and he got turned back into a human. And that is where we lay our scene. He is freshly human, very down on himself. This is a very imposter syndrome Link we're finding here, because he was really stuck on the part where he ran away. He's like, why would the gods choose me to be a hero? I ran away. I'm a coward. He's 16. He was a child when that happened. It's fine. But very, very self-deprecating Link, which is fine. I think it's interesting because in these mangas he talks, and he obviously doesn't really talk anywhere else. A little bit in like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, you can choose his responses, and you can definitely get some of his personality in it, but these mangas really have a lot. They also, they really like to incorporate the fact that Link loves food. He really loves eating, and I think that's cute. But yeah, this Link is a very sad, shame-filled boy, and it's a bummer. I'm assuming his arc is going to be figuring out that he's a good hero. Because he is. He's cool. He does not have the Master Sword yet. He had one encounter with the skeleton guard version of him from Ocarina of Time, which was neat. I liked that. But as far as stuff happening in this volume, it's pretty scarce, so I don't have much more to say. I don't know when I'll start volume 3. I might do it tonight. I might not. And I also don't know how many volumes are going to end up being in this video. I'm probably not going to do all 11 in one because that would be ridiculously long, but I might do like 4, and then 3. We'll see. But I will continue to update only when I have something to say, because I don't necessarily need every volume to have like 10 minutes. So just know that going forward, if I don't pop in, it's because nothing significant happened, in my humble opinion. I'm on volume 4 of 11 of these Twilight Princess books, and I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't like it. I'm pretty bored. Like, nothing happened in volume 3. The girl from the village went missing and showed up in the bar with no memory and worked there, and she was there for like literally a couple pages before Link found her. And now we're at the Zora part where the Zora Queen's dead and she's asking for them to help her son, and I just don't care. And you know, it could be because I have the boys on, but I've also been reading this without the boys on, and bored then too. So I don't have super high hopes for the rest because I'm about a third into the entire series, but I also don't know how many updates I'm going to do because not really anything is happening that I have opinions on. So this might not be a multiple part little thing. I might really just make this one video because I just don't have a lot to say. I know this is a pretty beloved one of the Zelda mangas, but I am not connecting with it. I do like the game quite a bit. Twilight Princess was a pretty big deal for me when I was a kid, so it's not that, because it's fairly close, I guess, to the source material. It's got obviously embellishments. It's just I don't care about the embellishments. I'm bored with it, so I'm gonna maybe read the rest of this in one more volume and check back in and see if my opinion has changed. The Boys is great so far, though. Season 4, real fun start. I want to show this really cute little illustration of baby Zelda. She's very adorable, and so is baby Midna. I actually really love this design. I'm in the middle of volume 5, and I'm updating because we got to the part where Midna's dying because, like, Zant made the light burn out the darkness in her, so she's dying, and they go to Zelda, and Zelda sacrifices herself to save Midna, which is in the game. What's not in the game, I think, I'm 99% sure because I have no memory of this, is that Midna and Zelda connected when they were both little girls. Zelda was very isolated, obviously, because she's a princess, and they found each other through, like, water. They could see through each other's world, and they had a connection when they were kids, because Midna cares very deeply for Zelda, and so when Zelda's saving her, Midna's figuring out what she's trying to do to her and begging Link to stop Zelda so that she doesn't die to save her. She obviously would rather die than Zelda die. And I like that part of the game, and I like this bit in Volume 5. It's the most interesting part so far in like the last 3 volumes. It could be because Zelda's involved and I really love her, but I love Link, and he's obviously in most pages, and he's not compelling me very much, but this is a positive, so I thought I would stop to discuss it. But I really like how this scene is handled in the manga. I think the little expansion is very good, and it gives, although Zelda's very kind and she would have obviously done anyway, I think I like the reasoning. Like, you can see why she's helping Midna and why she's willing to sacrifice herself to do it, which is obviously like a really big sacrifice. She also feels guilty because it's a little bit her fault what happened to Castletown, where everyone got sucked into darkness because she was told by Zant, either put down your sword and they live, or fight and I kill everybody. So Zelda has some guilt, along with Link. We're not really getting into that with Zelda because Zelda's not really appearing. I'm hoping she has more to do later because she's not really dead. She comes back, but she comes back at the end of the game, in the game, and we're not even halfway through this series, so I don't know how much more of Zelda we're gonna see. Okay, not to be this guy, but the Bane of Evil, the Master Sword, incorrect. It is the Sword of Evil's Bane. Duh. Alright, I will add, from this day forward, you are mine. That is objectively very hot of him. I do agree, we love a girl boss, but again, Sword of Evil's Bane. So now I'm on book 7. Something else interesting happened. They did bring Zelda back, only they totally added a new part where it shows Ganondorf bringing her back. They're currently having like a discussion. Ganondorf and Zelda are talking kind of over lunch a little bit. He's got her captive, so she can't go anywhere. But he's explaining to her what happened in Ocarina of Time, because that's where the timelines break up. That's the final canon thing that happened in every single timeline, is Ocarina of Time. It's either the hero's defeated, and this set of games happens over here, and then there's the 2 hero wins ones where Link wins and Zelda turns back time 7 years to, well, she doesn't really, that's what she says she does here. What she actually does is she sends Link back to his childhood so that he could go and make a new timeline, or that's at least what happens. He makes a timeline where none of the stuff with Ganondorf happened, because he went and warned Zelda and the king and queen that Ganondorf was going to betray them. So what happened in Ocarina of Time never happened in that timeline. And then the other one where he wins is, it's just the world that didn't get fixed. It's just 7 years of bad stuff happened, and then Ganondorf's defeated, and then the world goes on from there. And this is discussing that, which I love, obviously, because I love Ocarina of Time. So it's very interesting. I appreciate that they even have this part, because they kind of bungled the Arbiter's Grounds bit, where it's like the prison where they tried to execute Ganondorf. And they went through it really fast. They went through the Ganondorf stuff really fast, and that's a lot of people's favorite part of the game. So I was actually really surprised that they would do that. But I am liking this so far. Anything more to expand on Ganondorf I think is neat, especially him talking with Zelda. I really like that, because you never see that ever. He talks a little bit with Link, but if I can think back, I can't name a single time that he just like talked with her for an extended period of time. So this is actually pretty great. Small correction, I'm an idiot. I thought the Golden Wolf was Zelda. The Golden Wolf is Ocarina of Time Link. The Knight's Shade, or Hero's Shade. The skeleton guy who trains you to fight. He shows you moves as the game goes on. That is who the Golden Wolf is. And I should have known that, and the fact that I didn't is actually insane. But I haven't played Twilight Princess in a really long time, so I'm giving myself a pass. But I will also update, I'm on book 8, and there's a lot of stuff with Link from Ocarina of Time, and I love that. That's actually really great. He's on the cover. They're doing fight training. They explicitly say that he is Link from Ocarina of Time. I think the child Link, when she sent him back, that's who he is. Which I feel like people are split on it. They think it's kind of bleak for him, but I like it just because it's interesting. I like that not all of the things that happen in the timeline are good. Like, there is a timeline where Link just loses. There's a lot of Link losing that is official canon on the timeline. And I think it's interesting that they do that. And I think it's interesting that he is so unfulfilled, his Ocarina of Time self, because he never got to prove himself because no one knew what he did, because that bad stuff with Ganondorf never happened, which is how he became the spirit. But very interesting. Great way to start book 8. Junimo wanted to add something. She was staring really hard at me. Junimo! Junimo! Do you want to add something? I already gave you your treat for the night. Okay, she's got nothing to say. She's enjoying the book as well. And she's enjoying the boys. We're on episode 3. Take a moment here. I'm on the very last one. Not a ton of stuff happened that I cared about. The last couple books are mostly fights. Like, the last book is just the Ganondorf fight, pretty much. But I wanted to show this part because they changed a little bit during the Ganondorf fight at the end. They have Ocarina of Time Link show up in his shadow guard, his like skeleton form. And he has a moment with Zelda, and I had no idea this was going to happen, but getting to see these panels makes the entire read worth it. So I'm going to show you these panels. So of course I'll go back. He shows up to help a little bit, and then he has just a brief moment with Zelda, and then, oh my God, this could keep me alive forever. I swear to God. I've seen a lot of Heroes Shade art with Zelda, and I didn't understand it because I thought it was just like a cool piece, but I didn't realize they had a moment in these, because this isn't Zelda from Ocarina of Time, but like, she has all the Zeldas kind of within her spirit-wise, same way with Link, because like Link's like, oh, when I heard Ganondorf's name, it's like something woke up in me, and I knew I had to defeat him. So it's kind of insinuating heavily that like all the Zeldas are connected and all the Links are connected, and Ganondorf, it's like there's 3 Ganondorfs and they all just keep repeating. But I love this panel so deeply. That's gonna get it bumped up an entire star. I was very excited to see that. I am a big Zelda Link shipper. I believe they should be together. There's been a lot of hints in recent things in Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild. Very romantic in Skyward Sword too. So anything that will feed that part of me, I am ecstatic to see. Thank you very much, author of this just primo content. Forgive the rats if you hear them spinning. I'm just about finished. I just wanted to pop in. I really like this part because it goes with what thought I had of, I really appreciate that they don't have Link being like a goody two-shoes, and I that's what I was worried about, is that he would be just so pure of heart that he would even be against killing Ganondorf, and I had real concerns. But he has like vengeful moments, and he did in Ocarina of Time too. Like a dragon he cared about was killed because of something that happened with Ganondorf, and he literally was like, I will kill you for this, Ganondorf. And it was just like purely because he was hurt. And then even in this, he's like wanting to kill Ganondorf. Like he wants to do it, and he likes that he gets to kill him. And then I get to this part where he has stabbed Ganondorf with the sword to seal him away, and Link, like, he's not dying yet. He's like, I'm not gonna die, and they don't know better yet. And Link says, maybe this never ends, precisely because I defeated him. Do I even have the right to kill him? Does righteousness demand the destruction of evil? Because darkness believes it's right, which makes the light seem evil. And the 3 aspects of the Triforce, representing wisdom, power, and courage, by preserving a stable balance in this infinite battle, can never end. So basically he's saying, because he defeats Ganondorf, I guess it kind of perpetuates the whole thing, because they can't necessarily exist without each other, which ties back to the demise curse, where in Skyward Sword, which is the very first game in the whole timeline, canon with every single timeline, demise puts a curse on Link and Zelda. Zelda being the human incarnation of the goddess Hylia, however you pronounce it. The goddess. The whole goddess of everything. Zelda is she. And then every Zelda is a reincarnation of her. Every Link is a reincarnation of the hero. And then every reincarnation, or every Ganondorf is the reincarnation of Demise, who, as he was dying, thank you for running your wheel. As he was dying, he put a curse on Zelda and Link to say that they're just going to go through this for the rest of eternity. For all time, they will repeat this cycle of Ganon rising to power and Link defeating him, and it's just going to be like that forever. It's his punishment for defeating Demise. And this kind of calls back to that without actually talking about it. I don't know if this came out before or after Skyward Sword. It must have been after, because this would be too much of a coincidence. But this is a very thoughtful bit here about just that whole concept of the cycle repeating and who's responsible and all of that. And I do like it. I'm so close to the end here, so I'm going to finish this up and then wrap up the whole video with my overall opinions of the series. So bear with me for one more moment. Okay, I'm all done. The ending was pretty similar to the games. Midna turned human again, or human-shaped, and then went back into the Twilight Realm to be the queen. They did add Midna kissing Link, which I'm not a fan of because, again, I'm a Zelda Link truther. But I think they kind of... See, I don't mind it because it feels like they had Zelda have a connection with Ocarina of Time Link, a romantic one, because that hug looked very romantic. And then they had Midna sort of have a romantic thing with Link, so, you know, I don't know. I guess I don't care too much either way to be irritated or really like it. But, okay, so I'm finished with all 11, and, they were okay. I'm the biggest Legend of Zelda fan, genuinely. Are you good? Are you drinking water? Thank you. I'm such a huge Legend of Zelda fan, especially Twilight Princess, because I was one of those people who watched the, I don't know if anyone will remember this, way back in the day, in like the year 2000, after Ocarina came out, there was like, oh, what do they call it? A Space World, I think, or something like that. They did the little preview of what was supposed to be the next Zelda game, and it looked like really good well, at the time, really good graphics. This was 25 years ago. But it was like better-ish graphics than Ocarina of Time to insinuate we'd get like another kind of grown-up Zelda game. And then Wind Waker came out instead. And I was like enraged because I wanted like a really big, scary Zelda game. And it didn't come out. And then years later, Twilight Princess came out. And it was exactly what I was hoping for way back in the day. So, Junimo was staring at me so violently. So yeah, Twilight Princess meant a lot to me because it was kind of the game that I felt like I was promised when I was 7. And then I finally got it, and it was like a little bit scary. It was more intense. Ganondorf was pretty intimidating to like child me. And it just felt more grown up and darker. Not to make jokes, light and dark, very, very thematic with this. But so I like Twilight Princess quite a bit. I like all the Zelda games, even Wind Waker. I've come around to it. So this isn't a matter of me not liking the game very much, because I rave about the Ocarina of Time manga all the time. That's like my favorite game, basically. But I really love Twilight Princess. And this, I don't feel like it captured the spirit of it. Like, Agatha, the little bug girl, wasn't in it. The guy who was like turned to gold wasn't in it. And that's not necessarily like my problem with it overall. It's just that what kind of fleshed it out, I wasn't into. Like, I didn't care very much. The things they added didn't like connect with me. So I didn't care about it. And it was really long. So overall, I guess it was fine. If you really love Zelda, if you really love Twilight Princess, and you don't mind reading manga, I would recommend it. But for me, it wasn't great. And I don't know how many of the rest of the Zelda mangas I'm going to bother with, because I've read all the ones they have for games I really care about already. I said already twice, that's fine. But unless they were to do like a Wind Waker one would probably be cool. Wind Waker has such a distinct art style, so it would be weird, I guess. But I probably won't read more. And I hate that this ended up being negative because I was anticipating really liking these because it's so long. And I thought, oh, wow, it'll be really in-depth. And it was just not in a way I thought was cool, but there was parts I really liked. I loved everything with the hero shade. I loved the conversation between Ganondorf and Zelda. I liked the end where they brought the hero shade back. So they had some really cool elements that I wasn't expecting. And I think that is great. And I'm glad this exists. But I won't be adding it to my collection. So I suppose those are my final thoughts on the Twilight Princess manga. Thank you so much for watching my rants. Please go ahead and tell me your thoughts in the comments on these if you've read them. I would love to get recommendations if there's another Zelda manga that is supposed to be good. I'm willing to try it, but I need someone to tell me specifically what it is. So anyway, thank you and bon voyage.